Hello, hello, friends. Happy Sunday. It's Power Time with Sharon Herbert, Power RN, coming to you live from Power in Nursing Innovations. Welcome again, and hope that you're having a great day. Here we are once again on Sunday, and it is time for truth. It really is time for truth. You all know that nursing has faced similar challenges, same old stuff. Every year we say the same old thing. We're working on fixing the same old thing. Now, what's the truth? What's the truth now? Who is fixing anything for nurses? Now we have, the public that gives us hoo-has and hellos every year when they are choosing us as the most trustworthy profession. Yes. And we so appreciate that. And then we go back to work and we are treated in the same way that we have in the past when we so complained that we weren't being valued. And here we are, 2024. One more time, same old thing. When is the truth going to be told? Now we know most of us are women. Now we know that. So we don't have to keep saying that. So we understand in society what that means for other professionals as well. So we can't kind of change our bodies, even though there are some folks that are working on controlling that. But we have to do something different. When will leaders lead? We're still struggling with our value, with our salaries, with our time, with our professional development, with mandatory overtime, short staffing, same old things over and over. When will you lead? When will you take the mantle and speak for yourselves? Speak for yourselves. It isn't really that difficult. Just make sure that you're doing it well and you have a plan. And, we know about the nursing process and how we've planned that for, centuries. But we failed to do that for ourselves. Just think about it. Just think about it. How do you manage any challenges or stressors during your days or weeks or months or years that you've been in the nursing profession? Sometimes we just complain and we get angry and nothing really changes. That's a pattern. That is a pattern. And it's more than one day that those things occur over and over. And then folks leave, and then new grads come, and the same thing over and over. New grads come, and they find out by, the fall or the Christmas season that they really aren't in a place that they expected. They knew that they would have to go to school and they knew that they'd have to go to work, but what is the truth about all of the platforms that are under that position? What is going on? Were you told you'd have to work weekends, nights, and holidays? Were you told that you were not going to be able to ask for a salary that is off of the charts? Do you know what the salaries are when you've decided to interview at an organization? Do you ask those questions? Do you ask questions of other colleagues who already know what's going on. You can't do these things by yourself. Leaders must lead. And you look at the patterns of these same challenges over years, and those patterns become habits, and we say the same thing the next year, that no one's valuing us, and we need a raise, and we need more staff, etc., etc., etc. Whatever you're used to in those years, it's the same thing next year, and it's the same thing the next year. And as you look after 5, 6 years, you're really used to being told that you're not going to get a raise, and or your raise is 0.5% over the next 5 years. And you get used to that. You get used to that. Those are habits. Those aren't most often something that's really thoughtful. You're used to doing it and you keep doing it. Those habits, those patterns really don't mean anything. You've become used to it. Not that you like it, but you get up every day and you come back and you do it again. Did you ever know that you could speak? Did you ever know, or did you ever ask, what can we do? Nurses, together, what can we do? We do need someone to take charge of these stressors, these challenges, these same everyday patterns and habits. And the next year, you have maybe a new leader, and it's the same pattern. You ask, well, why is it that we have to work every other weekend? And you're told that's how it is. And you do it again. And then you ask, well, why is it that we have to do mandatory overtime and our staffing is short? You're told it's just the way it is. You need to take a pause. Anybody taking a pause to think about what I've just said? What I've just said. All of what's happened will continue to happen. Because as long as the C-suite folks are okay, the CFOs are okay, the money for the organization is looking right, they still have full beds, and they are happy with all of that. And if you're not, well, if you just leave, and maybe it's just you, or maybe it's you and one other colleague, they'll replace you with, I don't know, a traveler or another new grad. Because it doesn't matter as long as they replace a nurse with a nurse. Because that's the thought. Even though we know there are so many different qualifiers of nursing. Park that there. But, you know better. You know better. And you have the power to change all of what you are feeling that's not working. All of what you are feeling. It's called, change. It's called change. You must choose change. It is not going to change a thing if you say nothing. And you do the same thing every day. And your colleagues do the same thing every day. And your supervisor, who may most likely be a nurse professional, says, well, there's nothing I can do. You must choose change. You all have so many gifts, and you use those gifts in service to others. How many times has a colleague or a patient said to you, I'm glad you were here because you helped me? And they'll say that tomorrow, and you'll do the same thing. And they'll say that the next day, and you'll do the same thing. And by day 10, 11, or 12, you're tired. You are tired of this same thing. Your gifts must be used in service to yourself. You can't serve others without serving yourself. And you must acknowledge that. You must be safe. You must be healthy and well. And you must nurture your own gifts. You must grow your gifts. We talk about professional development, but it's just like same old thing. We say professional development, then you decide you want to get a certification of some sort. Maybe you want to be a nurse practitioner, or maybe you want to be an specialist on the IV team. And you're told, well, if you want to do that, you can go ahead and do it, but we're not paying for that. And here you are, back to the same old circle, the same old stressors. You must nurture your gifts and grow your gifts. You are made for discovering and uncovering your gifts. You've been using them quietly and secretly. And that has been an advantage for the organization and for your patients. And what does that do for you? You are feeling worn out and worn down. You must develop and grow your gifts and use them and use them. There is a way for you to use your gifts to grow yourself and to lift yourself up and lift up your colleagues as well, as you all come to the conclusion, maybe there's 3 or 4 of you, maybe there's 10, that you're still doing the same thing. And it is difficult for you to grow yourself if you are overwrought and overwhelmed because of the short staffing. Again, short staffing again. You must work to build up your team together. Build up your team, because it's going to be really kind of hard, like a garden. It's going to really be hard to have a great response to your planting if you don't water it, if you don't pay attention to it, and you do nothing. Come to yourself, and it may take one person at a time to determine that, well, this is an eye opener. There is something that we can do together. Show your leaders and your colleagues, there's team members who don't even know what nurses do to help the team grow and to provide and support and promote best outcomes for the patient and for the organization. They just see the nurse and say, oh, okay, well, this is what we're doing today. Doctors write orders, they go their own way. They may not even acknowledge the gifts that you possess. So shine. Let them see your gifts. Your patients will see your gifts. You let them know what it is that you do and how you can help them to the best place in the outcome platform, because you're going to work together. with your patients to help create a solid plan for the next steps, whether it's discharge or whether they're going to have a transfer or a survey will come about that will ask these same questions to your patients upon discharge. That's how the organization finds or can find value in what you're doing. Remember, we've got to think about our next steps. The future of nursing is in your hands. It is in your hands. And new grads are coming. Their future is in your hands as well. Help them be successful. Help your new staff learn and grow and be successful as you grow the form and future of nursing. You can do it. You can do it. You can go from these habits and patterns to best practice if you decide to do so. It requires some work. Yes, work is required, but when you do it together, you have a better chance for best outcomes. We're all about doing well for others, but in the midst of this, you're still growing. You're still nurturing your seeds and watering your garden. Remember, you've got to pay attention to you. No one knows your pain, and no one can feel your pain except for you. Let your leaders know what it is that you need. And that means, yes, sitting down and talking to your leaders. Leaders must lead. That's the point of being a leader. So it's time for us to lift up ourselves and prepare for next steps in the healthcare system transformation. It will come from you. It will come from you. Unless leaders don't lead, and unless you're in the place and space that you were in last year, the year before that, and the year before that, COVID has changed a lot in our lives. What have you learned? You've learned there are some things that need to be changed for the future of nursing. Let's do this thing. We can do it together. And if you have any desire to grow your organization, that is a wonderful idea because you know what's been going on. Don't be afraid because there is a way, and that means that you are building upon the stressors and the solutions like, the nursing process, and you complete your care plan. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. You know what you need. And you know that your garden needs to be watered so that we can all take steps to a greater future for nursing and in nursing. This is Sharon Herbert, the Power RN, coming to you live from Power in Nursing Innovations. You know the truth. The first step in change is yours. You must take the first step. What will you do? And what's holding you back? 5 million and probably more, nurses in the United States. What's holding nursing back from making the changes in healthcare promotion, healthcare services, and healthcare systems? We've got DNPs and NPs out here in rural places and faraway places, and service is still challenged to many people in the U.S. Nursing homes, lots of places need nurses to make a change in the system and the practice. We can do it. We can do it. And let our leaders lead. You'll talk to them, and then you'll understand what your next steps are. But leaders must lead, or else we've got to make some changes. Thank you all for so much for listening today. Remember, patterns and habits aren't things that really require thinking. We've got to do a lot of thinking here, but we have the answers. So let's get together and help leaders lead. It's been a happy, happy Sunday here in Maryland, and we thank you again for joining us. We'll see you next time at PowerTime.